Hey guys, it's Matthew Goldsman from GamersCast. And now, here we are, just a few days away from Super Smash Bros. Brawl being released. So I think it's good to take a quick step back in time and look at the last addition to the Smash Bros. Series. So here's GamersCast's revisited review of Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. It was 3 years after the original, and right out of the GameCube launch, Super Smash Bros. Melee was released. And what's changed from the original? Well, first off, you'll notice that the overall feel of the gameplay is pretty much the same as last time, except a lot quicker in pace, and even more hectic than last time. In fact, if you've played this game enough, and then go back to the original will feel very slow and lagging, to be honest. The game is that crazy. But the feel isn't entirely original, as this time each character has their own weight and feel in the game. Yes, some characters feel exactly like the others, but for the most part, everyone pretty much has their own individual attributes to themselves. For example, Bowser will be heavy, and, well, you know what I mean. Characters like Ness are a bit light. And speaking of characters, there's over 24 of them this time, more than twice than the previous title. But, as in the last title, each character has the same number of moves as last time, except they also have some new side moves added. So Beast Right for Samus will be a missile, when if you did that in the last game, it would still be the normal plasma gun, or whatever it was. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same. But they also added a new shield into the game, and a new defense system. Through the new defense system, you can have new evasive maneuvers like the sidestep dodge and the rolling dodge. And even the shield itself was upgraded by having, depending on how hard you press the shoulder button, to be how the shield is. If you press the shoulder button lightly, it'll be a bigger shield, but not as strong. If you press it down hard, it'll be a tighter shield and stronger, but not as, well, big. And these new moves add a surprisingly large amount of variety to the game. The single player mode also contains the arcade-like mode seen in the original, along with a new adventure mode, but it doesn't add much, as in the adventure mode, you generally go through a set number of battles and objectives that is completely the same as last time. I mean, at least the arcade-style classic mode is still, well, the battles are random. Even if it does follow the same sequence, at least the battles there are random. But anyway, the missions in adventure mode you'll have just throwaways like escape from Brinstar or find the Triforce. It adds some variety, but doesn't really do much for the overall game. But, of course, the single-player mode also contains, well, new content in the stadium. In the stadium, you'll have your mini-games, like your classic break the targets, board the platforms is gone, but whatever, who cares about that. But this time you'll also have event matches, home run contests, and Multiman Melee. Event matches, you can consider that a mission mode, where, generally, you just have to complete the objective within the given constraints. This is very fun and it has a good amount of replay value. There's 51 event matches in all. Also new is the home run contest, where you have to beat the living hell out of a sandbag and smash it as far as you can within 10 seconds. They give you a home run bat to use, but you don't have to use it. This can be very exciting and challenging all the same, and it's also a welcomed addition to Smash Bros. And last is Multiman Melee, in which you can choose 6 different subcategories, but ultimately the objective of all of these is to see either how quickly you can beat a set number of enemies, see how long you can survive, or see how many enemies you can beat within the given time limit. For each of these, you'll be fighting 5 of polygon figures at once. So that can get pretty hectic and has lots of replay value as it stores your records and you can constantly compete against yourself to see if you can do it better than last time. But of course, the heart and soul of Smash Brothers has always been multiplayer, and this game doesn't disappoint with loads and loads of multiplayer options. All of them work great, except for a couple. Here's a quick rundown of all of them. Giant melee, obviously, you're giant. Tiny melee, you're tiny. Lightning melee, you're really fast. Slow-mo melee, well, this feels like the original was, and it's very slow. Twice as slow, actually. Metal melee, everyone's metal, and is heavier, but has a bit more power. Stamina mode, everyone has 150 HP. This is one of the modes that doesn't work very well. It's not customizable at all. Everyone has 150 hit points of damage, only one life, and it just really doesn't work at all. Because when one character dies, the stage will slow down as they yelp in pain, and if for the other people still fighting, it really throws off the feel and the flow of the match. I mean, you can really feel it. And in fact, their yelp of pain slows down everything so much that you might end up killing yourself in their death sequence. So it's kind of ironic, but whatever. Fixed camera mode. Well, I don't know what they were thinking when they made this, because generally it's just the camera pulled back so that you can see the entire stage. In stages like Hyrule Castle, you'll need a giant TV, otherwise you'll really be screwed. In fact, the game itself is so hectic, you'll need a big TV to play it on as it is, otherwise you'll be lost. Single button mode is either for people who are really bad at Smash Bros. Or just starting out. Generally all this does is it disables your special abilities, or just the B button, you could say. And while this levels the playing field a bit, most players will keep reaching over for that undersized B button, only to realize it's not doing anything. Super Sudden Death is your normal Smash Fest, with everyone starting off with 300% damage. And how is it really sudden death if you have more than one life? Whatever. Personally, I find the new sudden death mode to be a lot more entertaining, since if you don't kill your opponent fast enough, bombs start randomly appearing, and it's just awesome. May not be fair, but hey, the best player can't always win. Oh yeah, an invisible melee, every character is invisible. But one of the newest and most well-done additions to multiplayer's tournament mode, which supports up to 64 players and has many different styles of tournaments. So, there you can just hold your own tournament. It's just fun to do. And of course, there's your standard melee, which is your classic multiplayer modes, a few more new ones in the options, and it's just all good fun. And that's probably the mode you'll be in most often, because the other gimmicky modes are, it's just not Smash. You know what I mean. Generally, for your classic battles, you're just going to be spending most of your time in melee. With trophies of characters, items, stages, dating from the past 20 years of Nintendo's history, and with each trophy, you get a little description of it, and it's cool, and there's loads of them. And graphically, it's a huge improvement over the original, running perfectly in progressive scan and 16:9 widescreen, but though the change is extraordinary, it isn't worth buying GameCube component cables for. As with most GameCube titles, the difference between 480i and 480p isn't really that earth-shattering. But all in all, aside from the few flawed modes, it's a perfect. Everything's perfect aside from those few minor flaws, and it's a must-have for every GameCube owner. This game is easily one of the finest the GameCube has to offer, and thus, Super Smash Bros. Melee gets a 9.6 out of 10.